Welcome to Social Media Secrets for Winning Online. We're going to take you through this presentation how you personally and as a group can use social media to your advantage. So first off, to excel at social media, we must understand people. Social media is all about making connections, getting people to think about new things, to interact with others in a new and exciting way. So first off, think with people, understand your audience. Who are you trying to reach and who are you reaching? Objectives, set clear, measurable goals for success. Strategy, have a plan to achieve your objectives. And technology, understand and utilize the appropriate tools that fit your strategy when you're on social media. The average American, they're connected. They're on different platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and more. 80% of the people ages 18 to 44 check their smartphone as soon as they wake up. They're looking for notifications. They're seeing what's been going on. They're trying to figure out what they're going to respond to or what they want to talk about, or they want to just catch up on the news and see what's happening. People are also mobile. In this picture, you see kids on technology. That's becoming more and more of a reality where from a very young age, everyone's now connected to the internet, everyone is on social media, everyone is using their tablet, their smartphone, whatever it may be to entertain themselves and stay connected. 64% of Americans own a smartphone compared to only 35% in the 2012 presidential election. People are also social. 1 out of every 5 minutes spent on a mobile device in the US is spent on Facebook or Instagram. People love being connected, seeing what others are doing, and updating others on what they're doing to stay connected. People check their Facebook newsfeed 15 times per day and for about 40 minutes a day. So people are going to be seeing what others are doing. They're going to be impacted, whether it's in a personal way, political way, when it comes to seeing what happens. People are also distracted. The average attention span was 8 seconds in 2012, and that's down from 12 seconds in 2000. So people are not seeing things nearly as much or not paying as much attention. 84% of smartphone and tablet owners use their devices while watching TV. So they're trying to multitask with social media and watching whatever show is on. One principle to keep in mind when you're using social media is the burrito principle. This is for when you should post updates and to figure out catching users on their downtime. So when there's commuting to work, people are going to end up looking, once they're about to go to their cars or once they're finished driving and they're going to walk in, they're going to check social media at that point on their phones. When they're eating lunch, that's another time that you can catch people when you're trying to post something and get people to react and to see it. Once they commute home, whether it's before or after their drive, they're going to be looking. And late night surfing, these are times where people are most likely to be looking at social media and seeing what's happening. People are also influenced by people they know. If you remember the Ice Bucket Challenge from a couple years ago, lots of people would take the Ice Bucket Challenge and then challenge 3 more friends, and their friends would end up doing that. When it comes to social media, you're going to have lots of influence over people that know you and over friends that know you. People trust friends' opinions and reviews of strangers over ads and brands. 92% of consumers trust recommendations from families and friends. 70% of consumers trust opinions of online strangers that they have never met. So when you're looking for a different product online, you're going to end up looking at reviews, even though you don't know who these reviews are written by. If they're bad, you may be deterred from looking at that product. If they're good, you might be more inclined to purchase it. Then also know that 88% of registered voters in the U.S. are on social media. This means you're going to be able to reach people who are voting when you're using political posts and trying to spread a political story or meme or advertisement when you're on social media. People are also visual. Photo posts on Facebook receive 84% more clicks than our text and link posts. People, once again, don't want to have to read through much. We have short attention spans, so if there's a photo that can get a message across, people like that more. One example here from our national page is from Parks and Recreation. Ron Swanson's, at the time, girlfriend said, "Am I interrupting anything important?" And Ron Swanson says, "Impossible. I work for the government." This gets an initial reaction, gets people to laugh, gets people to agree with what Ron Swanson's saying, and that gets them the reaction. The features here in graphics and videos, we have Snapchat, Meerkat, Periscope. You can live stream, you can send pictures, all sorts of things. These are great ways to keep up to date with other people and to put yourself out there when it comes to social media. When on social media, think human, not tech. So think of the human element. It's not the technology you're using, but why do people actually want to connect with you is going to be more what you need to think about. What is your message? What are you trying to convey? What are you trying to get across? Who are you trying to connect with? There's plenty of politicians who figured out how to win an Instagram. Namely, they try and make you forget that they're a politician, and people feel jealous about how great their life is. So once again, don't post just straight up stuff from work. Don't post just one thing over and over. Find ways that humanize yourself, and that's going to get more people to want to connect with you on social media and to listen to you when you have opinions to share. And what about politics? In the past, it was always going to the local pubs or going to a diner and, speaking to voters that way. And it's still very much that. But now there's much more influence on social media that people have to be using and staying up to date with. Whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, a variety of other sources, politicians have to stay on there because you're not going to be able to shake every hand of your constituency. You need to figure out the best way to get your message out to the most amount of people. This also goes for you as a person and any political groups you might have on campus. You need to figure out how you can best get your message out, even if you can't personally, face-to-face, connect with different people on campus or in your community. 25% of social network users say they have gotten more involved in a political or social issue after reading about it on a social networking site. So this is showing just a way that you can make an impact. If you're going door to door, it's going to have a bigger impact. If you can be online, it's going to have a bigger impact because 25% of those people are going to be potentially taking more of a stance or looking more into that issue that you've posted on. Researchers at the MacArthur Research Network on Youth and Participatory Politics report that young people who are politically active online are twice as likely to vote than those who are not. So when you're finding those people who are politically active online and you're targeting them with your advertisements or your messaging to them, this could make a difference because, once again, these are the people who are more likely to be voting than other young people. So that's how social media works, but what do we need to put into practice? What about you? First off, remember that people are the main objective when it comes to social media. You need to understand your audience and figure out how to connect with them. So your objectives for this are keep up, build community, and make an impact when it comes to social media. Don't just constantly send a barrage of tweets and posts at people telling them you have to do this, but actually build that community before you try and make that impact. Strategy and technology. Think of who am I? What do I have to say? How can I best reach those that I'm trying to reach? And what do I have to work with when it comes to technology? Know what your limits are and find how others can help you as well, especially if you're working as a political group on campus, and figure out who's the best at different areas. Spend 80% of time building connections and creating a sense of community, and then spend 20% of the time activating that community. So don't just go onto Facebook if you're working for a campaign and say, every day just post on Facebook, let's go door knocking, let's go door knocking, let's go door knocking. Instead, talk about the candidate's beliefs, talk about them as a person, get people to respond on Facebook, get them to like things, get them to feel a sense of community and how they can actually feel connected to the candidate. And then it's going to be easier just saying, hey, this Saturday everyone come out and let's go door knocking. People are going to be more inclined to actually listen to that and respond to that, opposed to if you are over and over telling them to do the exact same thing. People want to feel included before they're going to actually take that initiative and take that step to help you out. So know who am I and what do I know. So the first rule of politics is define yourself or somebody else will. This is going to also work the same when it comes to social media. Define yourself, especially if you're using it for politics, Define what you're about and what issues you're trying to get across and what stances you're trying to talk to others about. People like to know the name and face behind your social media posts. So don't have a profile picture or an avatar that is of something different and then you're just posting inconspicuous things that aren't actually showing people who you are and they just think they might be talking to a robot. People aren't going to want to reply to that. That's not going to build a sense of community, and it's not going to help you with your social media brand. Instead, make personal posts, have personal photos, different things that are going to get people to understand who you are and going to make them more likely to actually want to interact with you. Also know, who am I talking with? The sky's the limit when it comes to that. When you have all different sorts of platforms, you can talk to people you do know, acquaintances, people that live halfway across the globe. So start a conversation with like-minded people. Take on the other side, even start a debate, but have stats and pictures ready and make sure you come off in a way that you can be proud of if talked about or questioned in the future about it. Interact with elected officials, whether you approve or disapprove of what they've been doing. This is a great way to stay in touch with them, but don't simply be white noise that says the same sort of comment over and over and eventually gets ignored. Chronicle your campaign to your supporters. So if you are running for office or helping someone run for office, let them see what you're doing and let them see behind the scenes. Let them see different events that you might be helping with. Things of that nature, and that's going to help people feel more connected. And then also reach reporters to fill in the local news gaps. Counter bias, force coverage of issues, provide examples and facts, cover local meetings, and call reporters out. This is going to be especially helpful with local newspapers and giving them content because they're going to need that. So find stories that would be newsworthy that you could help and get to the press and help them put a story out that's going to help you or your candidate, your group, or whatever political issue that you're working with. One way to use social media is you can also find supporters if you're working on a campaign. Here we have a person supporting Hillary Clinton, and then you have Hillary Clinton's organizer for the Mason City area, and they find each other on Twitter, and they're able to work together and figure out, how you can get another door knocker or someone helping with the campaign. This can work for whether you're on campus, whether you're working for a candidate, or different social issues, different political issues, different fiscal issues, anything of that nature. It can work. If you're looking at using Twitter, you can find different hashtags that might fit your agenda. You can find different areas where people might live, and these are all ways to help get you some more supporters and get people who will be volunteering and helping you with your political cause. A 2014 poll of House and Senate staff, 3/4 said between 1 and 30 comments on social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter were enough to grab their attention on an issue. Keep this in mind. This works for national, this works for local, all different sorts of politicians. However, you do not want to be somebody who is constantly just trolling a candidate's page because that's going to end up getting you blocked or just get you so they're not actually going to listen to you. Instead, organize people around an issue and then start doing some comments personally from their accounts, from your accounts. Don't just have the same cookie cutter language, though. Actually have things that, have people talk to them, and this is going to be more likely to get your representative or senator, assemblyman, whoever it might be, to comment or even make a change on this issue or reach out to you on this issue. Join the conversation. Here's an example of a tweet about Hillary after she had made comments about her family being broke, leaving the White House. This Twitter user said, "Hillary contemplating the plight of the poor from her humble home." So they joined the conversation. They used the hashtag "Why I'm not voting for Hillary," and this is going to get more people noticing them, more people retweeting them and following them and hearing what they have to say in the conversation. So then how can I best reach them? Facebook's going to connect people with friends, public figures, organizations, and causes they care about. Twitter's going to drive narrative, be critical to rapid response, breaking news, and media relations. This is going to be, each of these can be very helpful. It just depends how you want to end up, what your goal ends up being, and how you're going to want to use your social media to your advantage. Number one rule of social media that you should keep in mind as well is no ghost towns. Don't go big on political posts and then all of a sudden just fall off the face of the earth for the next month and then expect to come back and have the same sort of presence on your social media platform. On Facebook, there's personal pages and fan pages. Use each of them to your advantage. Personal pages to connect with those that you know. Fan pages or group pages, use those to get more people seeing what your group is doing, what sort of things you're working on in the political realm. And this is going to be helpful when pushing an issue or getting groups of people together. A personal page tip, don't oversaturate the Facebook newsfeed. People aren't going to like it if you're going over and over and over and you're all they see. They're going to end up blocking you. So remember, quality over quantity. It's going to be more helpful if you put out a convincing argument on different things opposed to several arguments on the same thing. And then also use your personal page to help your group page. So like posts on it to get more people on Facebook seeing it. Share your posts. Invite friends that you believe would share the same values and believe the same things as you to this page. Also, when it comes to your group page, post a variety of content. So whether that's a quote from a politician, whether it's an endorsement that your group's making, local news that'll get people energized just in your area, or even if you're having different sort of trainings or webinars, things like that. These are sort of things that American Majority will post as well, and it helps to give people some different things to want to come and look at and like, because different things are going to interest different followers that you have on social media. And so now for Twitter. Twitter is blogging plus text messages. Twitter excels in short message bursts, event updates, blog post pushes, and breaking news. And why is Twitter so popular? In the words of blogger Sean Howe, Facebook is about interacting with people you know, staying in touch, posting status updates, and looking at pictures. Twitter has this element as well, but it lets you do it with complete strangers. This allows for users to tailor an experience that is unique to them by choosing who they follow and who they interact with. It's a contextualized and personal experience. You can make Twitter whatever you want it to be by the hashtags you use, the people you follow, and the people that you interact with. Make sure when you're tweeting you tweet good content. Here's an example from one of my personal tweets. In 2014, agencies used 3,554 new regulations. Maybe our government is a bit too big. Hashtag we write, hashtag PJNet, hashtag win 2016. When you're making a tweet, you want to put out more than just information. You want to put out sort of showing what your feelings are on this by adding your smirk, by getting people to see, with my smirk would be my second sentence here, maybe our government is a bit too big, ? This is going to get people to want to react, and it's going to get people looking at it and responding to it. And also, it's helpful using different hashtags. We write is Wisconsin Right. That's for conservative politics in Wisconsin. PJNet's a lot of different conservatives across the nation. Different things like that are going to help you get more people seeing it, get people who actually care about this issue seeing it, and it's going to get more people engaged with your tweets. Things to tweet about. Local issues important to voters, national issues, letters to the editor that you might have sent, blogs you might have, articles, endorsements, quotes, events, links to other pages, images. All those sorts of things. You can, once again, quotes from politicians work really well when you're trying out different things, and then maybe even try them. As here you see Margaret Thatcher, we used a non-political hashtag of Woman Crush Wednesday. That's going to get more people than usual seeing it. Different audience that might attract them to see your page, but then we also put conservative hashtags with it as well. And then what to do on Twitter? You want to build relationships. You want to engage your followers. You want to retweet, reply to tweets and retweets, answer questions, thank followers, use trending topics and hashtags, and mention Twitter handles. And if you're doing a Twitter handle in the beginning of your tweet, make sure to put a period in front of it so more than the person you're replying to is going to be able to see it. On Twitter, have a direct call to action. When followers are specifically asked to retweet, by spelling it out, the retweet rate is 23 times higher than average. Compare this to the retweet rate of only 10 times higher when followers are asked to RT, shortened. So if you ask them for this call to action, people are more likely to respond and do it for you. Then also on Twitter, grow your followers. Follow people who are similar to you. People who retweet you, follow them, and tweet consistently. One thing you can do is you can do a follow Friday when you have followers who you interact with regularly, followers that you want to get more followers from, and to help them get followers. And you just put hashtag FF for Follow Friday, and then the followers that are high up on your list of people that you engage with. And so then grow your followers. You can do this by live tweeting. You can include Twitter handles on materials that your group might have. And you can also schedule tweets if you don't have enough time and you want to make sure you're tweeting consistently that day. This can be used, and we'll see in a couple slides here, by different tools that can help you with Twitter. Remember that people don't read, so you want to provide content that can be absorbed quickly. YouTube is now the second largest search engine because people go there to see lots of how-to videos and seeing what they need to do in certain situations. So different things that you can also use to get messages across are pictures. So here we have a candidate who had Happy Father's Day, remembering his dad. A life well lived, caring for so many. He remains my hero and leader of the world. And then putting more than just text, putting this picture is going to get constituents to engage with it and people who might vote for him. Then we have here American women veterans, posting a picture of an actual American women veteran, getting more people engaged and wanting to see what the picture is about and see what their group's about. And then here's one. We have Obama's quote of, "They'll warn that tyranny is always lurking just around the corner. You should reject these voices." Then you have James Madison saying, "The truth is that all men having power ought to be mistrusted." Sure, you could just write these out, but it's more impactful when you actually can see the pictures, see the even contrast in the colors there. Invite participation. People go online to interact, not just digest. Make yourself available, engage, and interact. One way to do this is by hosting a social media chat through using hashtags. So here we have one with Ann Voskamp, and she has hashtag AskAnn. You can figure this out for if you have a political group. You can even, if you want, try this for yourself and get people to interact with you in that way. Just figure out kind of what message you want to get across, who you want to talk to, and how you can push that out. And so when it comes to Twitter and social media, what do I have to work with? So for Twitter, there are tools such as Manage Flitter, Hootsuite, Buffer App, Canva, TweetDeck. All these are going to help you with followers. They're going to help you schedule tweets and help you keep your social media platforms up to date. Know your analytics. When it comes to Facebook, photos have the furthest reach, followed by statuses, and then followed by just solely links. Lots of times you can put these things together and it's going to be helpful. American Majority, during the sequester a few years ago, had posted this one of barricades didn't stop them 70 years ago. They don't stop them today. And so this was, the sequester happened, so the president said we need to shut down the memorials. So instead of just shutting the lights off or something simple like that, the president decided that we needed to barricade these different memorials, and one of them being the World War II memorial, where veterans that weekend were flying out for the honor flight and seeing the memorial at least once in their lifetime. And so what happened was the veterans themselves ended up breaking down the barricades, so they could see the memorial in their honor and their other soldiers that they fought with honor. And so here you see through the picture, there's a little description, and then there's also a link which got thousands of people liking it, sharing it, commenting on it, and it got the most bang for its buck when it comes to a social media post. And back to Twitter, know that tweets that contain less than 100 characters receive 17% higher engagement than longer tweets. Tweets that contain links receive 86% higher retweet rates than tweets with no links. And tweets with hashtags receive 2 times more engagement than those without hashtags. So make sure to think through these things when you're tweeting and use them to get the most bang for your buck on a tweet. Build it and they will come only works in the movies. Social media is a build it, nurture it, engage them, and they may come and stay. This is a great tip from Seth Godin, and he's putting out the point where if you want your social media to actually work and be fruitful for you in your political and personal endeavors, you need to actually make sure to take time. Don't have a ghost town. Reach out to those that you're with, and that's going to help you a lot, just building your capital on social media and building that influence that you're hoping to have. Make sure to keep it snackable. Don't have too long of posts. Don't have so many posts that people want to stop reading them and want to block you. Just make it so people can see it and it's not going to take too long and you get your message across. In the words of Gary Player, the more I practice, the luckier I get. So the more you're on social media, the more times you're going to see some of your posts take off, and you're going to see what works and what doesn't work, and that's going to help you in the future. And there are your tips on social media, secrets for winning online.